Hey Valley Middle, tonight we're going to do our third lesson in section 9.1 where we learn about probability as a percentage. But let's first start with our trivia question today. Where is Dubai located? People are always talking about Dubai, but do you know where it is in the map? We'll find that out and much more tonight. Alright, officially tonight our target is 9.1c. I can express the probability of a simple event as a percentage. Let's do this thing. Alright, here's the spinner I designed to see what we'll do each day in advisory. What is the probability of having something other than free time or drug ed? All right, well, we got a total of 6 different things here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 possible outcomes. We'll put that down as the denominator. And then we've got free time and drug ed here. So we have 4 other things that it could possibly be. So we have 4 chances other than drug ed or free time. So we have 4 out of 6, and if we were expressing our answer as a fraction, we'd be done. We can pop that into our calculator and find out that 4 divided by 6, let me clear that out for you, 4 divided by 6 is equal to 0.666 or 0.6 repeating. That still wouldn't be our answer. That's our answer as a decimal, but we want our answer expressed as a percentage. So we take the decimal, we move it 2 spots to the right, 1, 2. What we're doing there is multiplying by 100, and we get 66.6%. So there's a 66.6% chance of having something other than free time or drug ed during advisory. All right, here's the must-know words for the day. We've talked about outcome. That's just any one of the possible results of an action, like rolling this. There's 6 possible different outcomes you could have. 3 is one of the 6. Probability, that's the chance of an event happening, like rolling an even number. There's 3 chances out of 6. It could be a 2, a 4, or a 6. Don't forget that P stands for probability. What's the probability of rolling an even number? And then percentage, that's the rate or number per 100. And that's where we're going to go tonight. So here's the fraction. We have 3 out of 6 chances, which if you divide that, you're going to get 0.5. To make that into a percentage, we multiply by 100 and move that decimal 2 places to the right. You have to put in the 0 to hold the place, and you have 50%. This one's a little simpler. A 3 or 4, there's 2 chances out of 6. If we pop that into the calculator, we're going to get 0.333. We take and move that decimal 2 spots as we multiply by 100. 1, 2, we get 33.3% repeating. So that's all we're going to do tonight. It's very similar to the last lessons. Now we're just going from a decimal to a percentage. So let's work through some examples. Example 1. Here's a 12-sided die. What is the probability of rolling a multiple of 2 on this 12-sided die? Express your answer as a percentage. Okay, so we're looking for a multiple of 2. There's a total of 12 combinations on there, any of the numbers 1 through 12. Our numerator then is how many of the favorable outcomes we have. Well, it could be a 2, a 4, a 6, an 8, a 10, or 12. So we have a total of 6 favorable outcomes, or 6 even numbers, multiples of 2. So if I pop that into the calculator, of course, I'm going to get 0.5. That makes sense, right? It's half. Move that decimal 2 spots to the right, 1, 2, we end up with 50%. All right, now it's your turn on this same example. Find out what the probability of a number greater than 9 is. Go ahead and take a second to pause it. All right. Well, you have a total of 3 possibilities and still out of the 12. It could be a 10 or 11 or 12. These are numbers that are greater than 9. So if I take and divide 3 divided by 12, I get 0.25. But that's not the answer because we need it as a percentage. So move that decimal or multiply by 100, I have 25%. That is my answer. I have a 25% chance of getting a number greater than 9. All right, let's try another one, this time with a spinner. What's the probability of the spinner landing on a square number? Express your answer as a percentage. Same thing as always. We want to find the percentage of as a square number. Sorry about that, I forgot to type that in. Percentage or the probability of a square number. So we figure out how many possible outcomes there are. There's a total of 5, 2, 4, 9, 16, and 25. Now we need to figure out what the possible outcomes are favorable. Well, If you remember what a square number is, it's a number like 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 4 is 16, and 5 times 5 is 25, but 1 times 1 isn't 2. So 2 is not a square number. So we have a total of 4 of the 5. That's our answer as a fraction. If we express that as a decimal, it's going to be 0.8. To get to the percentage, multiply by 100 and move that decimal 2 spots to the right, we're going to get 80%. All right, now it's your turn. Using the same spinner, find out what the probability of getting an odd number is. Go ahead and do that. All right, let's see how you did. Well, 2 chances out of 5. You could have 9 or 25. These are the odd numbers. All right, that would be 2 divided by 5 would be 0.4. We move that decimal, multiply by 100, 2 spots to the right here, you're going to get 40% as your answer. So you have a 40% chance of getting an odd number on this spinner. All right, one more example. A little harder, but fun to think about. So here's a chart with all the 36 possible combinations you could get when you throw 2 die. So you've got a blue die and a white die, and you throw them together and they list all the different possible combinations. So you have 36 possible. What's the probability of getting a pair of 1s? Well, out of all of those chances, there's only 2 where you have a 1 and a 1. All the rest of them are different. There's no other pair of 1s. So you only have 1 chance out of 36. So if you pop that into the calculator, you're going to get a very small number. 1 divided by 36, not that small, 1 divided by 36 equals 0.0277, or 0.027 repeating would be our decimal. Multiply that by 100, 1, 2, move that decimal 2 spots to the right, we get 2.7%. It would really be 2.7, but we can drop that 0, right? Good. So 2.7%, less than a 3% chance of throwing 2 1s. Remind me to tell you a good story about that. All right, your turn. Now, I want you to look at the same chart, and I want you to figure out what is the possibility of having all pairs. All pairs. I'm even going to help you out here. There are a total of 6 chances if you look. There's the 1s, there's the 2s, there's the 3s. So we kind of already know that. So I'm just going to put a 6 in here for you. I already wrote down that there are 6 chances. Can you take that and convert that into a decimal and then into a percentage? Go ahead and see if you can. All right. If you did it right, you popped into the calculator, you would have got 0.166666, and it just goes on. So then, when we take and turn that into a percentage, we move it 2 spots to the right, and you would get 16.6%. So there's a 16.6% chance of throwing a pair of numbers, 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, and so on. All right. All right, one more example about this, and this will be your ticket to the show. Now, I want you to look and see if you can find out what the probability is of getting a combination that equals 7, and express that as a percentage. And I've already helped you with a couple here. I circled them in red. Here's a 1 and a 6, that would equal 7. Here's a 2 and a 5, and that would equal 7. And you can freeze the screen here and count the rest to see if you can find how many chances out of 36 there are that equal 7. Turn it into a decimal, and then express it as a percent. Go ahead. Okay. Our ticket to the show. I'm sorry. That is our ticket to the show. Our trivia question. Where the heck is Dubai located? Well, 3 maps. First of all, here's the map of the world. Here's Africa. Here's the Far East, and Europe's right here. So right here in the Middle East is where it's located, Dubai. Then here's a blow-up of the Middle East, and here's the United Arab Emirates right down here, kind of in the corner here by Iran. And there's Dubai, a little right there. You can see where it says Dubai. And then if I blow that up into this map here, you'll see that Dubai is located right here within the United Arab Emirates, right there. So if you want to travel to Dubai, you got a long plane ride. But I heard it's beautiful. All right, thanks for listening. Have a good night.